Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial. In this one we're going to be bypassing our rig setup a little bit and we're going to stick to our basic rig for a little while. I will have videos on the full body for the guys that are waiting on that, but I know that some of you want to get connected. So in this video we're going to get Unity Gaming Services Relay working with Mirror with a transport so that you guys can start connecting with people. And then we'll move on from there. So let's see how long this is going to take. Shouldn't take long. So first thing, if you go to the Unity documentation for Unity Gaming Services, where they've got everything about their matchmaking, lobby systems, and relay and all that stuff, they've actually got a mirror sample available. So if you go to the sample project, you can read about it and all the stuff here. There's a whole lot going on in this project, but we really are only worried about one part of that, and that is the transport and the relay. So if you go to the sample project, and you come down, it gives you all this stuff. Tells you about it, gives you some instructions, how to use it, and things like that. Just go to the code, download the zip file. I'll leave the link for this in the description of the video. So once you have it downloaded, you'll get a zip file. Go and unzip it, and let's go in here. And you're only really worried about one file, and that's the UTP transport. Keep this in mind. We're not going to do anything with it yet, but this right here is what you need. There are a lot of script templates and stuff in here, but for what I'm going to show you guys in the videos, you don't really need this. We're going to be going through lobby and all that stuff and setting up scene transitions and everything, but we're going to start and get you connected. So we're only worried about this file. So if you scroll down on his GitHub, you'll see installation instructions, and this is very important. I actually messed this up the very first time I used it. If you install this file before you do these other two things, you'll get some kind of weird namespace error that I couldn't fix, and I actually had to start over. So actually do it in this order. So we're going to install Unity jobs, we're going to install services, and then we're going to copy the folder over. Okay, so let's go into Unity. This is where we left off with our project. We have our little network guy here with animated hands. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Windows, and then we're going to go to Package Manager, and then Assets, and then we're going to go to Registry, and we're going to look for Jobs. I can't remember if this is a, yeah, it is. Holding. Okay, you can see I just installed jobs. The way I did that is I just went to plus, then add package by name, and then the name is actually com.unity.jobs. It's an experimental package. That's what I was wondering about. If you look at it, he's got the name of it here. And then next, we're going to grab the relay. You can do this one of two ways. You can actually search for relay, I believe. Let's try that first. Let's just say relay. Oh, no, nothing there. Okay. Is it here? Relay. No? Okay, well, fine. We'll just add it by name. Relay. Let that install. Come on. You can do it. Okay, so now we've got jobs and we've got relay installed. So now, if you go to edit project settings, if you have not connected your project to Unity Services yet, this is where you can do it. I have already linked my project. If yours is not linked, this would be different. You would have a button that says link project, and you would click that, and you would do the stuff and all the things and go through it. But from here, you can also open your dashboard. So let's open our dashboard. If you have a Unity account, you've already got one of these. You may not have seen it, you may have. When you get there, go ahead and sign in. You can see at the top that it has my name of my project that's been linked. So now if you go to, where is it? Let's see. Yep. And yeah, projects. If I click on my project again, all I do is scroll down. Now if you come down to Relay, click on Relay. You'll see this little video. You can watch it if you want. You don't have to. Hit Get Started. This is stuff that we already did. Hit Next. We have already installed the package. Hit Next. This is some samples. There's some really good stuff in here. I highly suggest you get these and go through them. But we're not going to deal with that right now. Just hit Finish, and boom, you can say Relay has been successfully set up and automatically enabled. Yay, we're connected. Okay, so let's drop out of there. Let's go ahead and close this. We're good here. We've got the IDs. We got all the stuff and things. Now, my friends, we can bring this little doohickey in. So, let's grab this little guy, and we're just going to plop him in there. And there we go. And we can close you out. When you get this thing in here, you'll see that there is a README. You can pull this up for some instructions. Now, the thing with Unity Gaming Services is you have to authenticate with services. It's the very first thing you do with your project. You only have to do it once. Doesn't matter how many services you're using. If you're using Lobby and Relay or whatever you're doing with services, you only have to authenticate once. And if you come down here to the bottom, he'll actually tell you. The following snippet demonstrates how to authenticate with Unity Authentication Services in C#. Hooray. Okay, so let's just put this over here for now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a little connection manager here so that we can do this in VR. So, come over here, go to your assets, go to BNG Framework, come down to your prefabs. And I should point out, I am using BNG Framework, but everything that I'm showing you guys right now has absolutely nothing to do with BNG Framework. So if you're an XR guy and you're following how to connect Mirror to Unity Gaming Services, don't worry about it. Past the network rig, all the connection stuff, all the lobby stuff that I'm going to do in the future, all that stuff does not matter. So welcome, friends. Go into prefabs. If you're not using BNG Framework or whatever framework you're using, most of them have a world canvas. If not, you can look up how to make a world canvas. It's really not that difficult, but I have a prefab, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring this canvas up here. I'm going to zero out its position, and where's your rotation? I'm going to zero you out, and then I'm going to bring you up, and then I'm going to bring you over here. Whoop, canvas, come over here. Okay, quick and dirty. Okay, I am going to rename this to, let's say, connection menu. Sure, that works. I'm going to go and unpack it since it's a prefab. Unpack completely. Down here, we can get rid of the text. I'm going to add a UI panel, just so we can have a background of some type. You can make it whatever color you want. I might go for a blue. Let's go for that. Sure, cool. And we need a couple of buttons. So let's add a UI button. If this pops up, tell it to import. Text Mesh Pro, much better text. If you don't know about it, you're living under a rock. Okay, once that's done, you can bring in the examples if you want. On this one, we're going to call this one Post. Sure. And then duplicate another one, and we'll call this Join. So we know which button's which. Now, on the text, we can just do the same thing. I don't know, let's call it Create. And pull that little guy up there. And then on this little guy, we'll say, oops. Moved the wrong one. You up here. There you go. Create and then join. Our text there will be Join. Sure. So we're going to set this up to where it'll create the game and you will be hosting and you will join as a client. So let's do some quick and dirty stuff here. Let's just make it bigger so they're easier to hit in VR. Okay, so once you got your buttons, we need to make it to where you can actually do this in VR. In BNG Framework, we're going to add a VR canvas that will allow us to raycast against it with our UI pointer and actually click on buttons and stuff. Next, let's go ahead and set up our transport. So previously we had a network manager transport and KCP transport and network manager. Well, this is going to go away. Now, let's go ahead and make a new network manager, create an empty, and we'll call this relay network manager. Now, keep both of them. When you're testing locally, you can use this for when you're testing your game. That way you're not connecting through a relay every single time. You'll just use this one when you're building your game, and then when you need to test it across the relay network with your lobby, once you get to that point, then you can use this one. You can just swap in between the two. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do. On our relay network manager, we will need relay network manager. Cool. And then what this is this is an override of the network manager. So it has all the same stuff that your normal network manager has, but it's set up to use relay. And then we're going to need the relay, I think, well, is it UTP? Relay manager. Yep. Boop. No, that's not it. Hold on. Hold, please. It is the UTP transport. That's what it is. Okay, there it is. So, see this little doohickey here? It says use relay. Check it. We're going to use the relay. Then we're going to take our transport and we're going to drag it up here to where the transport is. And then same as before, where our player prefab is at, we're going to need to come over here to our prefabs, grab our little prefab little guy here. We're going to drop his butt in there. Ta-da! And this network manager, we can get rid of this little guy. And now let's make a script. So let's go back to our scripts and let's make a new folder. We will call this Unity Gaming Services scripts. Why not? We'll come in here and we'll create a new one. And we'll call this menu connect. Sure. This is just a temporary script. Later on in other videos, we're going to completely replace this, but this is going to get you going for now. And this may be the only video you need, and you're just going to take off running with it. You never know. But for now, we'll get you going. Okay. So once you're in here, we're going to need a couple of things. So we need using unity.services.authentication. Boom. Now, authentication only needs to be done once. Now, normally I would only do this, I would do authentication all by itself, and I would just have it run as soon as you come into the game. It would run as soon as you start the game, and then it'd be done and over with. But for this, we're just going to put everything in one script, and this isn't everything you can do with authentication. It is a very basic use of authentication. We're not going to be using any logging in or anything like that. We're going to be going in anonymously, but there's quite a bit more you can actually do with authentication. But anyway, you also need unityservices.core and you need using UTP. Save. Now, down here, we can get rid of all that, and we need a public relay network manager. Relay, no, we'll just call it relay network manager, sure. And then public int number of players, because when you go to start your game, the relay manager is going to require a number of players. So go ahead and put that in there, and we'll say it's 2 by default, and then we'll do we need a region, public int. We're going to send the region is pretty much null. But you can actually select what region that you want to connect to. So if you were in Europe or something like that, but we're just going to set it up to where it just defaults to your closest region. And so if you're in the eastern United States, you'll connect to the closest server. String region. Boom. Okay. Then we're going to do a private async void. We need to await in this, because when you get into networking with relays and you're actually on the network, you have to await things to come back to you. And if this is your first time getting into networking, you're going to find that out real quick, that it's a lot of calls somewhere, and then you've got to wait for a reply before you can do something else. So what this is going to do is we are going to, on awake, we are going to call out, and we're going to say, oh wait, Unity services dot initialize async. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to, what await's going to do is going to run this line of code, and then it's going to wait for it to get done. And if we take async out of there, you'll see we're going to get an error. So async means exactly what it means. Run, wait, run at the same time, you know. And then once that happens, once we get the callback that, hey, that happened, we're then going to await authentication service dot instance dot sign in anonymously async. That's going to allow us to sign in. Hooray. Next, we need another function. You should also see this. You can do sign in anonymous async. You can sign in with Apple. You can sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. This is your authentication stuff. We're not going to get into this right now. You can use a custom username and password, all kinds of stuff. But for this, we're just going to do async until we get down the road. Then we're going to do public void create game. So we'll call this function from the menu to actually create the game on the Relay Network Manager. And here we're going to say relay Network Manager dot start relay host. And this is where it's going to want our number of players and our region. Boom. Yep. And then we're going to do another one. And we're going to say public void join game. Sure. So this would be for clients to join the already hosted game. And then we're going to say relay network manager dot join relay server. I believe that's what it's called. Go ahead and save that up. Now, if we go into, I'll show you where I'm getting that from real quick. So let's go back into Unity. Go over to our Relay Network Manager and let's open this up. So edit script. If you come down to the bottom, see it goes through a whole bunch of callbacks, but down here at the bottom is where you want it. And it'll actually tell you what this is. Start relay host. This is where it wants the region ID, which is going to come through as null by default, and then the max players. Then it's going to run through all of its jazz. It's going to return a join code. This join code is what you need to actually access this game from the client. For now, we're just gonna type it in. Later in another video, when we set up the lobby, we're actually going to get this returned to a lobby dictionary. So when clients join, it'll already have the code. So you'll have the option to be able to join with a code or to just be able to join a public. So public and private games. But that's where that's at. This is the callback to get that. The call to get that, I should say. And then here's join relay server. But you can also join standard servers. So if relay's false, let's say that you're using a dedicated server, you wouldn't need a relay, right? So That's in this transport. But we're worried about this one and this one. So this one's going to create the game and join. And this one's going to start client. This is going to join the game. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. We're just worried about these two functions. So let's go back into Unity. Back to our little buttons here. Up on our connection menu, let's just throw our script right there. Remember, this is a temporary script anyway. Let's drag our network manager over there. Region, you don't have to put anything. This is where you put number of players. So if you're just putting this together for friends and you guys are going to be sharing a code and stuff like that, I don't know, you put 20 in there or whatever. We'll just leave it at 2 for now, so 2 people can connect to the same connection. If you come down to our button here, rather than setting events in the script, I'm going to cheat and I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to take this, we'll drop this in here, and then I'm going to grab our function, which is create game. Over here, let's create an on-click event, and we'll do the same thing. We'll pull that over, and then we go to menu connect, and then we're going to say join game. Okay, file, save. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, how are we going to see the code for this testing? Well, what we're going to do is if you look at your network manager, right here, you can see it has relay join code right here. Okay, so let's go back into our services app, relay join host. Right here is where we get the join code. So let's just put this in here, debug.log error join code. Now you guys can return this to a text or whatever you want to do. I will tell you that with this being a lambda, whatever they call this function here, with the little doohickey here with the equals plus where it's waiting and then it has 2 things that you can do. There is a special way to get this returned with a task, and I will be going over that when we set up the lobby. You'll have to do that with both of them, but you are going to have a hard time returning this code right now, but I'm not going to go over that right now. But right now, where I'm just going to log this as an error so that if you're in a build, it'll actually show it. And then let's save that up, and let's go back over to Unity. Let's go to our build settings, make sure this is the scene that we got, and right here under development build, click that so that it'll actually show that error in your build. Okay, file, save. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to hit play. I'm going to host a game. It'll show me the debug with my code, and then I'll be able to type the code here, and then I'll be able to join after I type it. So I'm going to test it out, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're good to go. So let's go ahead and build it. In another video or 2 from here, I'm going to show you guys how to install Parallel Sync so that we'll have 2 editors running. But for now, let's just build it. Let's hit save if it asks. Okay, so here I am in my development build. Hit create. You can see it gives me a code. It's right here. 6TR9DJ. So let's pull that over out of my way. Come over to our Relay Network Manager. Let's click on here and we will put in 6TR9DG. Okay. We'll hit play. And then we will hit join. And there you go. There you have it. You are now connecting on a relay through Unity Gaming Services Relay using Mir. Ta-da! All right, so now you guys can stop testing locally, and that's pretty much how a relay works. If I guess I could give a better understanding of what a relay is. A relay is a cloud service. So typically, you know, you've got firewalls and you've got all this stuff. So let's say I was doing point-to-point and I just wanted to connect to your computer. Well, you would have to open up your firewall, or you'd have to do, you know, you'd have to do a punch through and open up a port and then give me your IP address. Well, you can already see what's wrong with that because you're opening up your protection. So what a relay is it's kind of like a middleman. We both connect to the relay, so there's nothing getting in our way, so we can talk to each other. It's kind of like I tell the relay something, the relay tells you. You tell the relay something, the relay tells me. That way you don't have to go through firewalls or all that stuff. So think of it that way. It's just if we were fighting, it's our mom in the middle. So Take that for what it's worth, but now you are connected to the world and you can play, don't know, I don't know, tag or something in VR with your friend in, I don't know, a different country or something. But anyway, I hope you found this informative. I hope that it helped you with stuff you were trying to do, and we will elaborate on it further going down the road. Have a good one. Later.